Onnit podcast with my boy Neo. No idea. Is that what we say it?
No idea.
No idea. Lahat, Israeli army, UFC fighter, longtime teammate from AKA. Both moved to Vegas. You moved first, led the way.
Yeah.
I joined you there shortly after, and you're fighting in Bellator now.
Fighting with Bellator.
Right? But we're not going to talk about that shit. We got way more cool shit to talk about.
Way more.
Let's dive into some fucking the beginning, the origins, growing up in Israel, and jumping into service as all are required to do.
Okay.
Talk about that shit. What was it like growing up there?
So first of all, you know that when you're done with high school, you go to the army. So you start all the screening for the military.
Pull that mic up a little bit. There we go.
Around the age of 15, 16, you start doing kind of planning the units you want to go to, and you start doing all kind of testing, physicals and medical. They see your profile. And so me personally, because I volunteered to the unit that I joined, so I knew exactly where I'm going to. Some people go and the day of,
it's like a lottery. Like, I don't care where I go, and they just select something for you.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was a paratrooper, so I knew from the beginning that that's the one I'm going to. So I think that was a little different for me. But I know for you it may be weird, but for me it's reality. I know that since I know my whole life that when I'm 18, I'm going to the military. I know that's what everybody does. So It's not weird for me.
Yeah, and then going into that, like you have 3 years of prep kind of. So you're doing physicals, you're doing different assessments. And as you chose, you planned out what you wanted to do. Like you wanted to be that. So you got to go in and do that. Yeah. How hard is it to get into what you want to do? Like a lot of people are like, I want to go to the Air Force, and they're not smart enough. Or they want to go into this or that and they don't make it. So they end up choosing something else. Is it fairly common that you can select what you want to do and get in?
I think they're trying to come as much as they can, towards you, what you want.
Yeah.
But if you can't do it, then it's the military.
Yeah. And so your whole life you have, obviously, there's no shortage of war, no shortage of violence. It's all around you, you're surrounded by it. And so it's not like getting drafted here in the States back in the day, there may have been war, there may not have been war, and a lot of people would volunteer if there was a war. Like you look at guys like Tim Kennedy who re-enlists after he's out because there's something to fight for that he believes in. Mm-hmm. There's no question. It's not like, I might enter and then I can do my 4 years. It'll be easy and I'll get out and get some government grants towards college and shit like that. It's got nothing to do with that. And it's a cultural thing. How do you think that affects people growing up? Like just being surrounded by violence, more or less?
Well, I think we mature much faster, than the Americans, especially. We mature much faster. Israelis in their 20s, they're more mentally like 35 to 40 American male. So you see the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they like Israelis. Usually they all go through a certain path. They all go to the military. After the military, they go work, save money, and then go on the big trip. They go either South America or Southeast Asia, places like that for 6 months, a year, and then come back, go to college, and everybody work through college, because you're already adult. You're not a teenager anymore. And then go to work. So me, I just went to the trip and never came back.
And you're a fucking world traveler. Right when I met you, I was like, I remember Dave Camarillo was our jiu-jitsu coach at the time, and obviously, he ended up leaving, and we have Leandro Vieira, this checkmate guy who you brought in, because Ricardo Vieira was your jiu-jitsu coach, gave you your black belt, one of Leandro's older brothers, one of his two older brothers. But there was all this talk, like you were already a black belt in judo. You had just gone back to see Ricardo in Brazil because he was down there, and you wanted to get promoted. I think that's when you got your brown belt. You were a purple belt when you first got to AK, right?
Yeah.
but you've been all over the world. You're like the world traveler for training too.
You know, we just did our taxes, and and Stephanie, my wife, was counting the days I'm out, and we come out of a little over 100, and I hate traveling. But I feel like if you want to learn something, you have to go to the source. So I wanted to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I went to Brazil. I wanted to learn Muay Thai. I went to Thailand. And if I want to learn something from someone, then I go to the person. I like to go and not learn from YouTube or someone that learned from. I like to go and I feel that it's really, as a person, I always travel alone. I travel to Brazil by myself. I travel to Thailand by myself. I travel to Europe by myself. And it's make you grow as a person when there's nobody to count on. You know, I landed in Thailand in the middle of the night. I got to my hotel at 3 a.m. I couldn't find the hotel. What do you do in Thailand? 3 a.m. I can't even read the signs. You can't find the hotel. I'm in the middle of nowhere. And then you get to the hotel, there's nobody there. You have to wait. It's stuff like that. Only when you travel alone, you learn.
Yeah, and you speak how many languages?
So I speak 4, but you know, forgetting because you don't use it.
Yeah, you can
like Portuguese. Yeah, I lived there for a while. In Brazil, you have to speak Portuguese. You can't. Nobody speak not even a little bit of English. If you don't speak Portuguese, you can't get along there. So I had to learn Portuguese. But Ricardo always make fun of me because I'm forgetting. You know, you're not using it, you forget it.
Yeah, they're funny guys, the Vieira brothers. They're damn funny. So how long did you spend in Brazil? Did you spend some time there?
Yeah, a year overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've lived in a bunch of different places. You lived in San Diego.
San Diego.
You trained with Dean Lister and Jocko Willink for a while out there.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And then that was right before you came up to AK, is that right?
Yeah.
Trained at AK for a bunch of years and then out to Vegas.
Yeah.
We were just talking to you. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. It's newer. I haven't spoken with anybody about this on the podcast that knew him, but I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that Robert Follis was your coach.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
unfortunate deal, man. Do you care? Is it okay to talk about that?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Break that down, what that was like. Because I was at a wedding. I was at Nate Corey's wedding up in Portland, Oregon, and everyone was talking about it. And I had heard about it kind of through the grapevine before then, but I wasn't really sure what had happened. I thought he died. I didn't realize he took his own life.
Yeah.
And everyone was really broken up about it. And obviously, you know, we spoke a bit about how he had come from that background as a Jehovah's Witness, which is without a doubt a fucking cult. Like there is no doubt that's a cult. You can say that about, you know, some people would say all religions are a cult. Some people would say bullshit, I'm Christian and it's not a cult, or I'm Jewish, it's not a cult. But there's no doubt that certain ones like Scientology or Jehovah's Witness, they have very, very cult-like characteristics. And one of those is if you leave, you're disowned. And it's not just disowned from the church, you're disowned from your entire family.
From life.
For life. For fucking life. And so it didn't hit me until I was at Nate's wedding and he had tears in his eyes thanking me for coming and how much it meant to him. And I was like, fuck you, man. I wouldn't fucking miss your wedding. You're my brother, you know? And he was like, no. He goes, you don't understand. I have one family member that showed up for this. One. And there's hundreds living. One came to my wedding.
Oh.
You know? So it meant more to him than I understood. You know?
Yeah.
But
so I think I had a moment like that with Follis. He came to my house in Israel. And he'd been at my family's house, with my parents' house for almost a week, and we showed him the country. And when he left, he thanked me, and then he called them and thanked them. And for me, it was obvious. Yeah, you came to my house, and he said he never felt like that. Like, you know, he said he felt in ease right away. He felt comfortable with everybody, and he said he never felt like that. And so to me, I didn't know. I didn't know about his past. He never shared with me. But I heard from Corey, and he was talking about that. And then I realized, and then, you know, you start making one and one, and you realize you really, all of a sudden you understand stuff. You understand why is it mean to him so much, all kind of stuff like that. And to me, it really surprised me because everybody knew him. One of my friends in Israel came to my fight, and he heard about that, and he texted me, I could never imagine that. I was jealous. He told me that I was jealous of him for his happiness and how he talk and share and his positivity. I could never guess that someone like that is actually depressed underneath, to the point, so much pain to the point that you take your own life. It's not obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously you were training with him in Vegas. He was one of your coaches, and in MMA, there's you form tight bonds. It's people over compare this to war and battle far too often. Yeah. And as I'm sitting across from a fucking guy who's been in war, like it's silly to do that. Even like football players in the NFL, like, we're going to war. Like, no, you're going to play football. It's not that, but there is something where
the bond is
there's a bond, the same,
right?
Like, there's a camaraderie, and you're putting your ass on the line. You're maybe not putting your life on the line, but you are putting your ass on the line.
It's the same to us. You go to the cage, you go with the mentality of there's a good chance I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah, really hurt, and there could be long-term damage. I've tried a great deal to unpack the brain damage that I've had through diet, exercise, supplements, and biohacks. But all that to say, like, when you go to Vegas, especially before I get there, and there's not a ton of people there, like, you form really close connections to the people you train with, the people who coach you, the people you go into these fights with.
Yes, especially all this time. I'm obviously I was new in Vegas. All I knew is home and gym. So I didn't know anybody outside. He welcomed me to Vegas. Josh Thompson introduced me to him because I was looking to leave San Jose, and I was thinking about Vegas. And I was talking to Josh, and Josh told me, I got the right person for you. And I went to Vegas. I moved to Vegas, and then I met him there, and he helped me. And I trained with him almost every day for the 2 years I lived there. So yeah, it's the cutting weight that people don't realize. It's not even the actual fight. It's the cutting weight that's who's there, and helping you when you're like just about to. Every time that's the worst fight. Like, you're about to break every time. If you don't break, you don't cut weight.
Yeah.
That suffer of that, or like they push you when the right person to tell you, hey, you overtrain, you're not undertrained, go home and rest. That especially in that sport, we miss those people so much. And I think that's what I learned from him the most. I remember thinking when I got to AKA, and you were talking about taking the day off because my pulse is a little higher, and all I'm thinking is like, pussy. I was thinking, look at this giant pussy. He's like taking the day off. Well, what's wrong with you?
I got a lot of shit for that.
Oh, so much shit. And today I'm like, oh no, he's not a pussy. I'm an idiot. That's the difference. So he helped me, and that's like a mental thing, like to take the time off.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned from him. You want to get first healthy, then in shape, then the fight plan. That's it. That's the most important tools to win a fight. And when you put the shape before the health and before the game plan, and we did it for too many years, and nobody get healthier or stronger from that.
Yeah, that's why we see, so much in MMA. People keep getting hurt. People have to pull out of fights. Like, you don't get injured when you're fresh. You don't get injured when your gas tank is full and you feel great. It happens at the end of practice. It happens 2 weeks before a fight because you've been overtraining for 4 weeks.
So for me, thank God, I got a really strong hardware. I never got, like a bad injury, but I fried my software.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like, I got hurt from that. And I learned, like, now, unless I feel good, like I feel good, I don't push. And because I'm older now, I'm not young anymore. I have already my black belts and stuff. So I know how to fight. So it's not about that. Now for me, it's about the timing, it's about the game plan, it's about being healthy. And that's how I win my fights now. And the most important thing for me, because this is so it's maybe the worst career path you can choose, but I just love doing that. So I make sure I'm enjoying doing that. If I don't enjoy doing that, that day I told my wife, that day I'm stopping. There's no reason.
What's it all for?
Yeah.
Right.
So I make sure I'm enjoying in training, that I go to training, I'm enjoying. I'm not just have to pick myself. You know those times when you like had to get off bed, drag yourself to take a hot shower just to warm up your body a little bit to be able to stretch so you can go down the stairs to get breakfast before you go to training. And today I'm like, no, if I can't walk, I'm not going to training. I'm, there's like stretching for 40 minutes just to be able to warm up.
Yeah.
So I don't do those anymore.
That's good. You finally found the way to listen to your body.
Yeah, so he helped me with that. He helped me. It was like, I would come to the gym. I was like, no, go home. I was like, well, what do you mean go home? Go home. I don't need you here. You can barely move. I was like, no, just give me like a half an hour. I'll stretch. I'll come back. He was like, stretch and then go home. So he got me out of that cycle. He really helped me with that.
Yeah. That's tough, man. So you took off to Thailand after to clear your head.
Mm-hmm.
You went out and saw our boy Mike Swick.
Yeah.
He's got an awesome fucking gym out there. I want to go out to see.
Oh, he built America over there. It's crazy. He got a little America in town. It's insane. He got this gym look like a little bit like that, only like MMA. Really nice. Everything is clean. Everything good taste. I really enjoyed going there. And you have the cafe right there, and everything is outside in the open. So you train and then sit there, and it was really nice. I did a podcast with him talking about how I got to MMA and stuff.
Oh, the old shit. Yeah. I can't wait to get out there. I'm going to get out there at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get on it to take care of that trip if I podcast with Swick. We'll call it a business trip.
That's the way.
Yeah, but he's Swick's been another dude that's been there from day one. I remember when I got there, Swick was funny too because he really was like batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like you remember him blowing up? It was when Swick was in the top 5 at welterweight with John Fitch and Koscheck in the top 3. And they would go to war with each other. And if Swick lost a round to either one of those guys who's in the top 3, he would spit his mouthpiece out, start cursing at everyone in his corner. It's when we had a ring. It was in that shitty mall, that mini mall. And he'd start trying to rip his gloves off before he could untie them. And he's like, motherfucker, fucking just yanking shit off, screaming. And he'd just run. It's like inconsolable.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was like watching like a 5-year-old go ape shit.
So passionate.
Yeah. He cared that much. You want to lose fucking one round.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, man. I'm happy he's doing well out there and his gym's really successful. Definitely want to make a trip out there. But let's lighten it up a bit. Let's talk about one of my favorite things on earth. Let's talk about weed. Let's talk about cannabis. I've been a pretty big proponent of this. Obviously, both of us were in California for some time.
Mm-hmm.
It is now recreational in California. I helped vote for that before I moved. And it's recreational in the great state of Nevada, where you live, brother.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
How has cannabis helped you? Because you've had some pretty serious gut issues over the years.
Yeah. Like I told you, I fried my heart, my software. My immune system just went crazy from stress, emotional, physical. I was training like crazy. I was really poor, and I didn't want to leave the gym because every time I step out of the gym, it costs me money. So I would wake up in the morning, come to the gym, and for 10 hours straight, just train. And I didn't know how to go light. So everything was all out war. And a few years, you do that. A few fight camps, you do that. And, the body start giving you signals, stop doing that. And, I learned in the military, everything is right here. Everything is in your head. You just imagine the pain. So you push through, and I was keep pushing, and I went to the bottom when I was the bottom when I cut weight for one fight, and I just couldn't put the weight back on. I got to the fight. I won the fight, but it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. Every muscle in my body was cramping. And I was in so much pain, and you can't stop when you cramp to take a stretch. The guy's trying to take your head off. And I was clinching with him, and I hear my back go pock, pock, pock. Everything just get out of line from the pressure of of the pressure of the cramping. Anyway, from that I didn't got better. I had to go to the doctor. Realized I've been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. The same thing that GSP just retired second time for. That's how I know I'm that much tougher. And
Yes.
hell yeah. So I've been at the bottom. I got to the point, if you see there's 2 years in my career that I didn't fight. I was in the gym every day. I was 130 pounds, now 165, healthy. I was 130 pounds, anemic out of my mind. Don't even know it. Sparring the cage with Thompson, help him ready for his fight.
Who walks around at 170?
Who walk around, yeah, plus 175. Like easy.
Well, that's when he's a fat kid.
Yeah. So, just Bob was looking at me, he's like, yeah, he wouldn't tell me that he won't let me fight. But he like keeping it on just he wanted me to heal first. But in my head, I can't heal. So I was keep training. I was in so much pain. I was in pains. The pain was so bad, it felt like every time I ate something that my stomach didn't like, it felt like I ate broken glass. You feel like broken glass coming down and going till it's going out. That's how it feels. Every once in a while you get cramping, and the cramping felt like I got a knife inside my stomach trying to come out. The worst pain I ever felt in my life. And I felt some pain. And you roll on the floor in pain, like cramping like crazy, and then it goes away. It's like, oh, okay, I'm good. 5 minutes later, boom, again. So it's kind of pain that you can't get used to because it's keep attacking. I got to the hospital. They gave me a bunch of drugs that made me feel so much worse. You remember me? Out of
prednisone, all that shit.
Yeah, they gave me 80 milligram prednisone IV a day. Killed me, like destroyed me. I got home. I remember I was on the couch. Like I couldn't pick up my laptop. I was trying to hold the laptop. I was in bed, on the couch. Couldn't. It was too heavy. Couldn't hold anything. Everything I ate, always in pain. Couldn't sleep. Tried almost. I was on 2 different immune suppress and the steroids, the cortisone, the prednisone they gave me. The side effects were horrible. And then Stephanie goes, like, my wife, hey, why don't you try cannabis? I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm doing drugs now? She was like, yeah, I they always tell that it's good for stomach pain and stuff. She was like, let's go to the doctor. There's those doctors, the weed doctors in Cali. So I'm barely walking. She dragging me to the clinic. I sit there, and the girl's like, okay, give us your driver license. I was like, I don't have it. Then we can give you the card. And I'm like, I'm in such a bad mood. Fuck this shit. Let's go. Fine. They're like, oh, wait a second. Do you have your license? I pointed to my wife. And she goes like, yes. Do you have any of these problems? And they hand a list, a long list. She goes like, yes, I do have anxiety. Then you should be treated with medical cannabis. They call her in, give her the license. We go out. We drive to the dispensary. She goes in. She comes out. So she tells them like, hey, my husband is a beginner, never done it before. What do you got for me? They gave her edibles and a bong, this bong for a beginner, for someone who never done it before. I go home, and I never smoked in my life. I never been drunk. I never took anything. Because my whole, when I'm growing up, I always wanted to be an Olympian. So when the 14 years old stealing daddy's vodka, I'm like, no, that's not going to make me stronger. I'm not taking that shit. So first time ever, I'm 24, maybe 2000, yeah, I'm something like that. First time ever, I'm letting go. And I'm trying to smoke, and I don't know how to smoke. So you take me like a few hits. I don't know what I'm doing.
Did you blow into the bong first?
I swallow it instead of breathing it, like inhaling it. I was keep swallowing. So I'm like, this shit, I'm not getting high. This is not going to work on me. And then, okay, I tried a few times, and then I took the right hit. And, all of a sudden, you're like, boom. And I'm laying back, like on the couch. And I remember like then it was like already late because I'm trying to smoke and I can't. So I'm hitting it like a few times, like trying to smoke. I'm like, I don't feel anything, and keep hitting it. Nothing at all. It take a few minutes to hit in, but when it hit, I already took so many hits.
Lift off.
So I'm going to bed and I'm so high, out of my mind. And then my wife looked at me and started crying. I'm like, why are you crying? She was like, that's the first time you smiled in 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the first time you smiled in 4 months. And and since then I tried every treatment possible, from stem cell to every kind of diet to almost every medication. There is nothing been beneficial to me like cannabis. The only time I'm not in pain is when I'm high and when I fight. That's it.
It's powerful, man.
So,
Mother Nature fucking figured it out.
Yeah, man. It's
There's
keeping
so
me
many
calm. I put my weight back on. I can eat. I'm relaxed. And not only that, it really made me a better person. Because to me, there was not on and off. I'm always in fight mode. I'm always ready to fight. And you would see on my face, you see like an older picture. I'm in fight mode all the time. The only time it's off, it's when I smoke. Now, I don't get like a crazy high because I'm always high. So I don't get that. But just to have that in my system, and I know when I have it and don't have it. Like before fights that I can't, like those weeks before, that's when I feel it. That's when, the pain come back, everything. And that's another stupid thing that I can't take my medicine before a fight. But that's the time that it's changed me as a person. I can turn off the fighter in me and I can relax and I can let go. Make me a better dad, a better husband. Because I can, I get high and my son come jumping me. All I do is like hug him and kiss him and play with him and stuff like that, instead of thinking about kimuras and chokes and stuff.
Or the knee-jerk reaction of you just kicked me in the nuts when the kid runs up and jumps on your lap, and you're like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, okay, be easy. You hurt daddy.
It's not as worse since they're running to you with like dirty hands and mouth to your new clothes and like wiping it on you.
Yeah, wiping the boogers all over you and their fucking grimy hands.
It's helped you understand that, like a little relaxed, like it's just fucking clothes. Who care?
Yeah. It takes the load off everything. It's kind of like everything's a little sweeter, everything's a little calmer, everything's a little bit more relaxed. Yeah. It's funny because people think about these things, and I mean, I've been in airports. I don't watch CNN and shit like that, but I've been in airports and seen it on, and they're like, they'll run some fucking stupid ass stat like, such and such is up in the state of Colorado since cannabis has become legal, and it's like, yeah, but domestic abuse is down. Drunk driving is down. DUIs are down. Fucking taxes are up. Schools are up. Like it's like a complete reversal, including with something they really had a concern for, which was the kids. Guess what? Kids have had access to fucking weed for fucking centuries. Yeah. You want fucking weed? If you're a kid, you're going to smoke it.
I could have smoked if I was a kid. My friend was offering to me. I was like, no, no, thank you.
Yeah, I first tried it when I was 15, and I was like, it's not for me. Like I got high. It was cool, but I was like, it's not for me. I don't appreciate it yet. I'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
And I did in college, and I loved it in college. But it's a funny thing. And then now when they look at the stats in Colorado, kids don't start smoking till they're older. The child use is down.
Because it's not that of a big attraction anymore.
It's not. Yeah, it's not off limits. It's there. It was accessible before, but now it's kind of like alcohol. It's like, okay, I know at a certain point I'll be able to smoke this, and I also know more about it. Like I know what it does. There's not like this. Like the veil is lifted. There's not like this huge fucking mysterious aura behind it. Like what cannabis will give you. You'll get high. It looks like this. A lot of times they see their parents get high. It's a social thing, right? It's not this thing cast into shadows where I'm going to smoke weed in the bathroom with the window open and not let my kids see it. Everyone I know that's in Cali,
the wrong environment.
Yeah. Like people smoke in front of their kids. They don't blow it in their fucking face. They don't want their kids to get high.
Yeah.
And they're not smoking in the living room. They'll go smoke wherever. But at the same time, like it's okay. It's socially acceptable. The same way you'd have a glass of wine in front of your kids and not worry about them raiding the pantry and getting shit-faced when you leave for 30 minutes.
Yeah, Follis told me that. We're talking about Follis. He told me, the only side effects known to weed is that it may lead to heroin use. But if you know that right off the bat, then there's no problem. just be careful not to take heroin.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I mean, like alcohol is the ultimate gateway drug. You used to say weed's the gateway drug. It's like, guess what? Alcohol is a fucking drug. And I told this to many people. I said it on the podcast with Uriah. Uriah was asking me.
But weed it is gateway, to other drugs. But it's more to like shroom and like ayahuasca. You're not doing meth after you smoke weed.
Yeah, there's no attraction there, right?
Yeah.
But that's also because you understand the power. Oh, we had a little hiccup there with the Zoom, whatever the fuck we're recording on. We had battery loss, but we're back, baby. So what I was bringing up was this point: when you have cannabis, you realize like here's a plant that comes from the ground. It's made by nature, and whether you have a spiritual background or not, you begin to understand that maybe there's a little bit more interconnectivity than we thought. Maybe some things are here on purpose, whether that's by design from a great source or a power, or whether it's just fucking Mother Earth bringing up the goods.
And if you don't like it, don't smoke it. Leave more to me.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, it's not a problem, right? It's not a problem for everyone else if you're stoned. It is a problem for everyone else if you're shit-faced drunk. It's a problem when that guy decides to drive.
Yeah,
it's a problem if that guy becomes violent with his family or at a bar. It's a problem, right? It's not a problem when somebody's stoned. It's far less of a problem, at least, right? And so, you brought up a good point, though, that when we start thinking of the plants, and maybe there is a little bit of an awakening process where we say, what other plants have a profound experience for us that are also like healing for the body?
Orange got vitamin C. That one got THC. What's other stuff got?
Yeah, and we look at looking into, obviously, we're pretty big fans here. I can't speak for all of Onnit, but for Kyle Kingsbury and Aubrey Marcus, huge fans of psychedelics and the plants. And when you look into tryptamine-based psychedelics like psilocybin mushrooms, ayahuasca, DMT, like all these things fit into serotonin receptors in the brain. They're quite healing for the brain and many parts of the body. They help heal the gut. They help heal a lot of things. THC, it fits into CB1 receptors in the brain, but CBD and all these other cannabinoids fit into fucking every cell in the body. Like it goes throughout our entire system.
Yeah.
And there's all these alkaloids and terpenes in the plants that have a number of benefits. They used to just think of cannabis as like, oh, THC is the best. So we'll make all these strains have really high THC and we'll dumb down the rest. And then now it's come full circle. We know that there's CBN and CBG and THCA and all these things have anti-inflammatory effects. There's terpenes like D-limonene, which is what they use in orange oil to fucking rid your house organically of termites. Mm-hmm. What does that do? That gets rid of parasites, candida. It's antimicrobial. It helps heal and get rid of bad bugs in the gut. It's incredibly beneficial for the immune system.
Whatever you said.
All this shit's in the plants, though. You know what I'm saying? It's all there, right?
Yeah.
And it's done that way. I think there's no way to know for sure, but it looks like cannabis before we started mucking with it. Obviously, it had far less levels of everything, until we started to cultivate and crossbreed. But
I don't know, weed now.
It looked closer.
North California weed, strong.
It's a whole different ball game, You talk to any old timer who used to smoke in the 70s, and they're like, "Man, it's a lot different."
Oh, it's way different.
But it looked like things were much closer in ratio. CBD to THC was closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. All the other alkaloids and terpenes were much higher, and there is balance, and we're creating that.
You can
now
still get
research.
Those if you want to.
Yeah, well,
but what's beautiful today, you can. There's so many strains and they're so different. You can almost get the medicine to whatever problem you have and you need. Like, it's my problem is in the morning. That's what I want. I can't sleep at night. You take something that help you to sleep. Something to help you, like focus. You can find those strain for almost everything, and that's amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier with because Israel has been on the front lines of medical cannabis for decades.
There's one lab in Israel, in the university that I don't know how to they're checking which strain good to every type of cancer. So if you have certain cancer, they can tell you which weed will be good for you.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, that's the future.
That's
and for everybody that's snake oil, cannabis doesn't cure cancer, blah blah blah.
And
it's
don't
like,
smoke it.
Yeah, it's like, well, look, there are.
Hey, I don't say don't take chemo if you need to, but even if you take chemo, weed will make it that much better.
Yeah, and I know 3 really close friends of mine that have gone through chemo and cannabis. They credit everything to cannabis.
Yeah,
their health, being able to get through chemo, being able to eat while they couldn't eat, being able to sleep at night while they couldn't sleep.
Have a smile when you feel like shit.
Yeah.
When you're so sick and you have a smile and you laugh a little bit.
It's kind of like the study they showed, Rogan was talking about how fasting can benefit. And we know now there's numerous studies. One of the reasons I just finished a 5-day water fast. Fasting after 4 days kills cancer. It through cellular autophagy and apoptosis. There's a natural recycling that occurs, and the body's intelligent. So it's not going to pick apart muscle and make you weak. It's going to clear out old immune cells. It's going to clear out anything that's become senescent. It's going to clear out anything that's become cancerous, and it will digest and break that down first to recycle it into the body. Then when you eat again, you get a boatload of stem cells released, and you create brand new immune cells, brand new cells where they're needed, right? So there's a refreshing that happens there. Many reasons to do that, but with cancer specifically, not only does it help to eliminate cancer, to reduce tumor size, but in conjunction with chemo, that was what was cool. This study that Rogan was talking about, where in conjunction with chemo, it showed 300% benefit to chemo alone if you fasted with it. Oh. So there's also studies that are coming out that show this benefit, not in the same way, and maybe not a 300% change, but there's a huge benefit to having cancer with chemo. I mean, having cancer, there is a bit of it there. There's a huge benefit to having cannabis with chemo, right? And so I think down the road, as we see more and more science become available, and like we were saying earlier, I mean, it's fucking dominoes. There's too much money to be made. You know, even states in the Bible Belt, they're going to see how much money's coming in from tax dollars. California has already stated they will make $1 billion with a B in their first 3 years. And then it'll be $1 billion a year annually. And every fucking year after that, $1 billion in tax dollars. And this is a state that is notoriously been known to have shitty infrastructure, shitty government that doesn't know how to fucking spend money. And so they can use that.
Yeah, but they're missing that because they become too greedy and trying to get too much, and they're waking up the underground.
I think Colorado set the bar high with 40% tax rate.
Yeah.
But people will still fucking pay it.
Yeah,
they'll still pay it.
No, but it's great for the everyday person that you just go every once in a while. If you pay an extra cents on your joint that you smoke once a month, just to have that ability, it's amazing.
It is amazing. And with Colorado leading the way, they're now funneling money back into research. So we have, for the first time in the U.S., state-funded research on cannabis that doesn't have to go through NIH. Previously, the federal government held a monopoly on all weed, and it came, I think, out of Missouri from one farm which grew shit weed, you know, just fucking like dirt brown Mexican weed, like the fucking worst weed on the planet. And so all studies were done on that. Well, of course, it's not organic. It's not fucking high quality. And now through legalization and third-party testing, largely because the medical community, it's one thing if you decide, I'm going to eat this shitty food. It's another thing to smoke pesticides and herbicides, especially if you have cancer. It's a fucking big no-no, right? Yeah. So what that's done is it's raised the quality of cannabis across the board with third-party testing. So people know what they're putting in their body. You know, if you get a 20 milligram edible, it's 20 milligrams. It's not from, you know, Joe's Kitchen where the fucking brownies,
it's anywhere between 5 to 500.
Yeah, it's from the same batch. It's got to be the same, right? But it isn't, you know, it never is. So it's really, I think it's really cool for people that are first starting out.
The products are clean. It's amazing. It's just everything is on a different level, and it's raised everything up because everything have to be transparency now. You don't sell it, you know, in the parking lot. So this is and the regulation and stuff. Even though, you know, they're pain in the ass, but still, they just raise all the quality of everything, and it's a different game.
Yeah, it's a completely different game. It's coming up big time. Let's talk a little bit about the other plants, because we had an opportunity a few years back. Fuck, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. It was a while ago. Yeah, our old coach who passed away. We got a chance to do ayahuasca together.
Yeah,
let's dive into that, brother. Break that experience down.
Well, that was 2014.
Mm,
That was a while ago.
yeah.
Yeah, it was that was in the the Indian reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my first time doing any kind of psychedelic, straight to ayahuasca. And
Straight to the big leagues.
yeah, I don't play around.
First fight was in the UFC. No big deal.
Yeah, that was I really enjoyed that. It's what I think. My view of that is different than yours. The way I see it, I think is just um, growing up is, in society, any kind of society, either society or yourself or your expectation or your parents, you putting checks and balances on your character. No, I need to go to school because that's what the good people do. So I go to school. Oh, I have to find a 9 to 5 job because that's what society tell me to do. I need to do that. Even if nobody tell you that, you're still being pushed and being limited to the certain things you want to be exposed to. And that's, I think that's what you see, like when we did the ceremony, most of the people were crying and they come with their resolution that I need to change my life, I need to do this. The only people that were laughing, enjoying and enjoying there, and it was me and you. That's it. There was so many people, everybody's crying and miserable and throwing up. Me and you, the only one are happy because me and you, the only one to do what we want to do. No one told me, no, you have to be a fighter. Right? I do it because that's what I want to. That was like a big you know, uh, going to that and not getting a real job, years chasing that dream. And I think for me, it just took that and I just felt so comfortable with who I am over there. And the visions I saw, all I saw is that I do what I love. And I think that's why stuff like that is so important for people that really want to know the true self,
Mm.
because you don't really expose to the true self unless you can take those checks and balances out and just really expose the person you are. How can you be happy if you don't do what you want? Because you can't even tell yourself what you want. Like I have so many people, I don't know what I want, but they know exactly what they want. They just don't have the guts to actually do what they want because it's a little scary to open a new business. It's not what you really want to do. And I think that's the main why is it open people's eyes after that. I know what I want to do. I want to leave my wife and live with a man.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything at all. It is funny you brought that up because we had it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had. Gentle for sure.
Yeah.
And we were laughing, we were enjoying it, and it was a day ceremony. The trees came alive. I mean, you're so connected in nature. It was true beauty. Yeah. But I think the more, there's no doubt. There's been ceremonies that I've done. It's different every time. There's been ceremonies that I've cried. There's been stuff that I've needed to let go. And it is different every time. I think what you recognized was a lot of people were in pain, and it doesn't take ayahuasca to understand that. You can look around and sorry to quote Rogan again, but like one of his pinned tweets is like, we don't have a gun issue. We have a mental health issue in America. Right? We have a fucking mental health problem here. There's no doubt. A lot of people are in pain, and largely due to the fact that we do have these agreements. They talk about that, Don Miguel Ruiz in the 4 agreements, the domestication of man. We're born into a system of ideas. And from that, we have more ideas placed upon us from parenting, from teachers, from elders, from other classmates.
From TV, you open TV, and that's how a man should look like. I'm sorry, but there's not many men on TV I want to look like them.
You don't want to look like Johnny Depp in one of those fucking French
soft
cologne commercials?
No.
I don't know where they get the fucking recipe for these cologne commercials, but they're fucking so bad. And they haven't changed them in 20 years.
Oh, Luke Rockhold just got one.
Did he?
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
He fucking looks like a cologne boy.
Yeah.
Little fucking
just got one.
doll.
Yeah.
Luke's a little piece of ass. He's a hot piece of ass. But yeah, and I think there is that awakening process, and it is different. And all in this, it can happen all in the same day where you go through some shit, You release that. You see the beauty in all things. You come to a greater understanding of what you want to accomplish in life and what are the things.
Because people don't even produce the natural drugs that they're supposed to. They don't go to sleep in time. They don't exercise. They don't eat what they're supposed to do. So their body is whack out of hormones, out of balance. So how are you gonna feel good if the chemical imbalance in your body is so whack? If you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't exercise, what do? You just be in a machine in someone's office to sit in front of the computer. You're not human anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are I'm not talking about people with a serious problem that depressed and sick. I'm talking about there's so many people that depressed and they go to the doctor, hey, take this. But the doctor don't tell them, like, no, motherfucker, you're depressed because you're supposed to be depressed. You haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks. You don't exercise. You eat like shit, or So yeah, you'll be depressed.
Yeah, there's
just adding more chemicals to that not going to do anyone any good.
The doctors aren't going to prescribe you more exercise or more sunlight.
No, it's your responsibility.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't go to an auto mechanic for really good water. I don't go to I don't go to the dentist for organic food. Like it's not in their wheelhouse to serve that to you, right? And some good doctors, I'm not saying they're all bad, but some good doctors will say, "Oh, you should exercise more," but they don't even fucking know what that looks like. A lot of doctors are fat, or just not in great health. And it doesn't, like some of the best doctors I've learned from, like Dr. Stephen Gundry, who wrote The Plant Paradox, high level fucking doctor. Dr. David Perlmutter, who wrote Grain Brain and Brain Maker, neurosurgeon, high level doctor. And both those guys were extremely out of shape and in very bad health before that was the catalyst that caused them to change, to realize that diet and exercise would help with that.
At some point in your life, your health going to be your number one priority, right?
Sooner or later, your number one concern.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt, and people push that aside. Like, I'm just living life. I like this thing, or I like to eat this food.
I did the same thing. For me, it was performance before everything else. I was okay with sacrifice everything to perform better, but surprisingly, I didn't perform better.
It'll always catch up with you. It'll always catch up with you at some point. I fucking joke with Gary Tonin online, who's one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world. And he'll always post some picture of him eating like some shitty ass cheeseburger from McDonald's or Carl's Jr. or whatever.
He's 20-something.
He's 20-something, exactly. And I remember when he went on Rogan's, he was talking about how like, no, I don't pay too much attention to my diet. It's like, yeah, I could get away with that shit when I was fucking 20 also. I could drink like a fish and go train at 5 a.m. when I played ASU football. I could show up half drunk, leaving the bar at 2 a.m. at 5 a.m. to work out and still get through that workout. But at 30, you can't do that.
But I think even in 20, you'll pay for that in your 30s.
No doubt. Yeah. A lot of the shit is unpacking the damage that I've done, right? Yeah. There's no doubt. And so it's just funny though, I got my degree in this and I know what I'm doing, and or it's the 80-20 rule. But what does the 80-20 rule really look like? It looks more like 50-50. 50% of the time you make good food, 50% of the time you eat like shit, and because you look good on the outside, you think that it's okay.
Want it on the inside.
Yeah. So many people in fitness fit that claim, and that's why, you follow like these Instagram models, shit like that, and it's pizza night or it's this, it's that. And I'm not saying I don't fucking eat pizza. I'll eat against the grain. I won't eat gluten, but I mean, I'll throw caution to the wind every now and then, but that looks more like 90-10.
But I eat like even pizza and burger during like fight camp. You don't have to eat shitty food to eat pizza. You can have a good pizza and have a good food. Like my wife make this pizza from cassava flour. Tastes not just like bread, but tastes good, but it's not grain. You put goat cheese, stuff like that. You want a burger, you can make your own burger. It doesn't have to be
grass-fed burgers all the time.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a shitty burger. Like I don't have to eat shitty food, to eat good food, to eat food that tastes good. It doesn't have to to be like that. I'm
not eating a Boca burger made out of beans just so I can feel like I can have a burger.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So you've got let's talk kids. Your little boy was born 2 or 3 days after Bear.
2 days, yeah.
2 days. Ezra. He is a beast. It's funny because they are like, for the longest time we lived in Vegas, same height, looked like the same weight, same body structure. Both of them have their shoulders back like fucking defiant little animals running around tearing shit up. Yeah, big ass. And then he's got a big ass just like you. But the only difference is he has your calves.
Yeah,
He's
the
got
skinny
tiny
calves.
ass chicken legs.
Skinny
Just
calves.
at the calves, not in the thighs.
Yeah, that's why I do my. That's why I'm a runner. I love running, dude. Every Sunday I'm going. You saw me. You've been there.
Yeah, man. We'd go up to Mount Charleston, run at altitude.
Yeah, man. This is
you do most of the running. I do some kettlebells.
So check this out. I was in LA after my August fight, and I was on the beach with him, and all of a sudden he started running on the soft sand, and I'm like, okay, he'll get tired. He come back. He's not getting tired. He keep running. So I'm getting off, start chasing him, and he's like, no, I want to run. So me and him running 2 miles. Since then, me and him running around the block 1 mile every night. He's 3 years old. Not even. He's
not 3 yet.
Yeah, not 3 yet. He run every night.
He's a savage.
But he make me run with him. I'm like, dude, I don't need that mile run now. I just trained twice today. But yeah, every night, me and him and the dog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you got a bun in the oven.
Yeah. I got a daughter now.
The little girl's coming.
Yeah, little girl's coming.
And so this podcast will be out probably when she's here on Earth.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. She's coming when? Next week or 2 weeks from now?
That's up to her.
Yeah. I guess that's right.
We're just waiting.
Very cool.
Somewhere this weekend and on.
What do you guys have a name picked out?
We have a name picked out. Yeah. We usually don't say the names. That's like Israeli
it's top
thing.
Secret.
We don't say the name until the baby's here.
It's like
we don't say the name. We don't buy anything for the kid until he's here.
That's pretty good though. Then you get parents to cough up the gifts and all that. Then
yeah, but now you got the second one, so it's just hand me.
Yeah, what do they call that? A sprinkle. It's not a baby shower. It's a sprinkle.
Yeah, the sprinkle. Yeah,
that's awesome. So, are you guys have any plans to have more kids after that, or are you just gonna take it one at a time?
Hey man, I went to my accountant about a week ago, and me and my wife sitting there, and he's looking at me like, you Jews not doing your share fair. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I was like, look, Christians over 1 billion, Muslims over 1 billion. How many Jews are there? I was like, maybe 20 million. He was like, you see? I was like, well, yeah, you got something. But I come from a big family. I'm one of 5, and I like kids. But it's up to my wife. But I want at least 2 more.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted a big family. My wife's one of 5. She has 3 step siblings.
I want the tribe, build a tribe.
Yeah, build a tribe. My dad is the oldest of 5. My mom is second oldest of 5.
My mom is one of 7. My dad is one of 13.
Fuck, 13 kids?
13. Yeah, so there's a story. My grandma married my grandpa when she was 3 years old. Now that sounds like the most, yeah.
When did they consummate the marriage?
Around the age of, so let me tell you the whole story. From the beginning. My dad's family is from Yemen originally. Jews in Yemen live among the Muslims. And the law of the Muslims, if the girl doesn't have a dad or a husband to own them, then they come and take the girls. So my grandma's dad, they killed him. And then right away, the same day her dad is died, they found my grandpa and they married them that day. So the Arabs won't take her. Yeah. So they got married. My dad went back to his family. They got to his family, and around I think the age of 12, 13, something like that, they actually teenagers something. They really got married.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so they start really young. So one of 13.
That would be fucking nuts. It's one thing to know you're gonna go into the military from the fucking first time you can speak and comprehend language. It's another thing to know, like, wait a minute, I've already got a wife. I'm already accounted for. Yes, I got a ball and chain.
So that was in Yemen. In 1947, a year after the independence of Israel, the neighbors decided that they're just going to come and kill everybody. So they left everything they had behind and just left to Israel. My family, the same thing from Afghanistan, my mom family, in the 40s. There was a war in Israel, Jews and Arabs, and the Muslims in Afghanistan decided that somehow it's their fault, even though they lived there for hundreds of years. Start killing them, left everything behind, ran to Israel.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I'm a second generation to refugees, but we don't grow with that that mentality. This is, Israel is our land. This is our home. So we don't.
And your parents are very successful people.
Yeah,
it's
very
crazy.
successful.
Crazy to think that
Mm-hmm.
they left literally with nothing.
Yeah, both of them grew up in a tent. No home. Were homelesses. Israel was a young country. Was not enough food for everybody. Constant war. My dad used to tell me the stories. They used to go look for just any kind of green weeds they can find, make a soup out of it to eat something, to have a taste in the water. And then they sent my dad to orphanage, to a school in Jerusalem, because they couldn't afford feeding him. And that's another trip. He grew up there, in Jerusalem in the winter snow. He used to go to the cemetery. The Jews buried their dead, not in a
Casket.
Not in a casket. No chemicals, cause dust to dust. You go back to dust. So no clothes. You wear a cloth, something. They put you in
straight in the ground.
Straight in the ground. So the clothes, nobody want to take the dead people's clothes. They throw it away. So my dad used to come and take those clothes. Yeah.
That's how he dressed himself.
That's how you get dressed. Yeah, so from that, to where I am today, I grew up in a different world. I had whatever I wanted to, I could never ask for something I didn't have it. I always had whatever I want to. So that only in one generation, the whole country just changed so much. It's insane. And, and now when the 70 years old, the country going to be soon, and my kid is here, it's like a tech empire, we're a strong military. My mom was telling me when she was 16, they took all the high school kids in the 70s to the national park in Tel Aviv to dig graves because there was a war coming, and they expect that at least half of the population will be dead. So they took all the high school kids to dig graves.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a fucking whole different way to live.
Yeah. So you've been in my house, so you see how my mom cooked. There's so much food.
Yeah.
She grew up hungry. So she can never bear the thought that anybody come to her house and be hungry. That's why my mom is there. The whole neighborhood's eating.
She's my favorite cook on earth. That's
yeah,
no
mine too.
I'd say your wife is probably a close second.
Yeah.
She's learning the tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
And tonight we get to feast. You're cooking up I'm gonna break keto. I hit this 5-day fast. I've been balls deep in ketosis for a while.
Now when I'm in town.
That's right. Now when you're in town. When in Rome, brother. I'm gonna eat
Afghan.
Amazing.
It's gonna
kosher.
Be an Afghan rice and chicken.
Yeah, I'm fucking so pumped. Well, we're going to jam off this podcast so we can crush a workout, get some good time on the mat. You can show me some jiu-jitsu shit that I've been missing out on.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining us, brother.
It was
we'll
awesome.
Definitely have you back.
Yeah, for sure.